Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is September 29th, and right now we are looking at the infrared satellite imagery. You can see the next storm system rolling in towards Oregon, California, deep trough digging down across the state of California and over the Intermountain West for the next few days. Then we're going to have another system here that's trending a little bit wetter in the models that's going to move into the Pacific Northwest. And after that, looks like we may build a big ridge here across the area. And the models are showing temperatures warming up quite nicely, but you always have to worry about fog developing in the valleys at this time of year. So we'll take a look at some of those expected temperatures as we go through the video today. Check out this deep low towards the Aleutian Islands, amplifying the ridge in front of it. This is what's going to come after the system moves through here. And then we're going to get another system over the top of that ridge down into the Pacific Northwest. And then the big ridge will start to build. I'll show you that here in a moment. If you want a nice affordable home weather station, this thing stores all the data for you in the cloud. Ultrasonic anemometer, haptic rain gauge, got UV index, solar radiation, all solar powered, all wireless. Click on that link down below to save 10%. I highly recommend that station. This is looking at SeaTac. Look at the below average temperatures here going through the second half of September, and we definitely added to our rainfall totals as forecast. 3.44 inches of rain, well above average for the month of September. We'll also take a look at the drought monitor here towards the end of the video. Looking at Saturday afternoon, gusty north winds. Check it out. This is OMAC. That's the Okanagan River Gap here. That's another terrain feature in eastern Washington that can be a cold air conduit as we go into the winter months here. So it's always fun to look at our terrain features. There's Moses Lake here as well. You can see these gusts going up to 35 miles per hour. Now, looking at 80-meter wind speeds, put this into motion as we go through tomorrow. You can kind of see that Okanagan River Gap there bringing those north winds, and then they relax a bit, and then they pick up again here as we go through Saturday evening, Saturday night here. So that's kind of an interesting look at our terrain feature. You probably know about the Fraser River Gap here and the Columbia River Gap as well, back and forth across the Washington-Oregon border with the Columbia River there. But not a lot of people know about the Okanagan River Gap there, but a nice cold air conduit, low-lying valley all the way up into British Columbia. Taking a look at Seattle, Tacoma, we do have some dense fog out there, dense fog advisory across some of Snohomish County and central King County there as well, down into Pierce County also. So heads up for that. You can kind of see that on the visible satellite imagery there, some of that fog lingering across the area, maybe up towards Everett and off towards the foothill areas also. Looking at the high resolution rapid refresh, 3-kilometer high resolution model, 12Z run. We might get some thunderstorms today across some of central and southern Oregon, as you can kind of see the spin in the atmosphere here over the next couple of days, bringing that thunderstorm potential into Oregon, Idaho, Montana, Utah, and eventually Wyoming here as well over the next 48 hours. So upper level low is going to be a feature that we're going to be dealing with here over the next couple of days. Here we go with what the Doppler radar may look like here. As we go towards this afternoon, you can kind of see that some of these heavier showers here with this low pressure system across Oregon. Then this finally starts to taper off as this moves across Nevada up in towards Wyoming into Montana here. So yeah, it could be a couple days of thunderstorm activity, some snow for the higher terrain even as well with the chilly upper level low in the area. This is 500 millibar temperatures. And look at this trough just carving out over California there and spinning over the Intermountain West as we go on into the early portion of next week coming up. So yeah, interesting stuff here. And you can kind of see the next system there swinging down across British Columbia here as well. As we go on in through the day Monday, we'll look at those totals in a moment. Here we go with the European. Let me bring that back up. Then we can see the trough digging down across California, Intermountain West, and then that brief transient ridge here before the next system swings through. But then after that, the serious ridge looks like it wants to build as we go towards the end of next week. And this could really warm us up. Again, the caveat here is that we could be developing fog into some of the valley areas. But then as we go further out into the extended, you can see maybe a return of that storm train towards Pacific Northwest as some Gulf of Alaska troughing gets going. But that's purely fantasy right now, something we have plenty of time to look at. Here we go with 500 millibar heights, the GFS, hot off the presses. You got Alaska, BC, Washington here. There goes our trough digging down across California and the Intermountain West. Ridge noses in briefly before the next system rushes down as we go through Monday. And then the ridge, look at this thing on the GFS, just kind of keeps the storm track at bay here. And as we go far enough out, though, you can kind of see that break down and the Gulf of Alaska storm trains start to return towards the west coast. But again, way off into fantasy land at this point. We'll be watching the effects of that ridge as we go. Now, looking at that, the European, check out Saturday and Sunday for Seattle, 75, 77. So if we don't get too much fog here, we're going to have some nice days coming up here. And you can see some upper 60s potentially by the time you get towards Thursday and Friday. Looking at the GFS shows something similar. Quite a nice weekend, potentially next week, rolling in in here. Again, we'll watch that fog potential as we go. It's tough to sniff out those details this far out. The GFS does not show much precipitation, at least the 06Z run didn't for this Monday system, but then you can see that maybe the return of some systems as we go through the October 10th, 11th, 12th time frame. Here is the European. This is the Monday system here. Obviously much wetter than what the GFS was showing. So a little bit of model discrepancy there. We'll take a look at the 12Z GFS here in a moment, though. And you can see Boise, places across the Intermountain West can be dealing with this moisture off and on. And of course, some of the higher elevations could be dealing with some snowfall, and you can't rule out a thunderstorm or two as well. This is Helena. I went to college out there for a little bit, and so I kind of like looking at what Helena gets, especially with these upper level lows. Like, things can get pretty chilly. You can see the elevation at 4,000 feet out there in Montana. Winter can come early, and you're getting a little bit of a taste of it here with this chilly upper level low here in late September. But you can see some nice precipitation totals showing up there for portions of Montana. Now, looking at the European last night's run, you can see that upper level low spinning across the area. You're going to be dealing with this all the way through Sunday night on into Monday, and then Monday night here as the next system also starts to approach Pacific Northwest from BC down towards Washington, and that's going to be dropping some measurable precipitation here across the area as well. And then maybe another week impulse as we go through midweek, and then we start to build the ridge over the area. More on that here in a moment. This is the GFS 12Z run. Good model agreement in the short term with the upper level low spinning here through at least Monday night. And then the next system looks like it uptrended a little bit with some of the precipitation coming in here. Still not quite as wet as the European model there. And then if we scroll out a little bit further, you notice the storm track gets shut off. Look at the precipitation just kind of goes away, and we remain nice and dry here through the upcoming weekend. And then you can see maybe a return to some systems as we go on through October 10th. And this is looking at European total snow, kind of showing you there is some snow potential across some Idaho, Nevada, western Montana, Wyoming out there down towards Utah as we go over the next couple of days, that chilly upper level low around. And this is 2-meter temperature anomaly. There goes our trough as we're speaking, and you can see it really settled down over the Intermountain West here. Some places 20 plus degrees below average for this time of year. And then finally that kicks out by the time you get towards the mid portion of the week here. And then what I want to really show you here as we go off into the extended, look at by the time we get towards Saturday and Sunday, look at some of this heat building over the Pacific Northwest. You go to Sunday, there's Monday. So yeah, we have the chance for some nice weather through October. And we had that last year as well. If you remember, October 16th last year was 88 degrees at SeaTac Airport. Now, looking at the drought monitor here. So this was released September 26th, and you might say, well, why isn't the drought gone? We got a whole bunch of rain. Well, it's a little bit more complicated than that. They're dealing with stream flow and other indicators as well. And also, when you just throw a whole bunch of rain on top of drought conditions, it doesn't just make drought go away. A lot of times when you get it in such a short period of time, a lot of that rain can run off, and you're not getting the full benefit of that precipitation value. So it's why you can't just look at precipitation values and say, hey, we got this much rain during the month of September. We shouldn't be in drought. It's not that easy. A lot of that rain runs off much quicker. But if you're getting over a more gradual period of time, of course, you saturate the ground better for a longer period of time also. So it tends to help out vegetation. Anybody who owns a garden can tell you that if you throw just 3 inches of water on your garden versus 3 inches of water on your garden for a 3-week period, obviously the vegetation is going to do much better here. And also there's things to come into other play as well, as far as like snow. When you get snow melt, and you kind of allow that gradual snowmelt to go in and saturate your soil over a period of time versus just dumping an inch of rain, a half an inch of snowfall can be much more effective at controlling drought across an area. So things to keep in mind that the drought monitor is looking at. It's just not some pure precipitation value map that they deal with these drought conditions with. So anyway, I hope that clears things up a little bit here. And again, I want to thank everybody for the members of the page. You guys make this channel possible. And everybody who just views these videos, you guys help me out a lot. It makes it worth my while to do this. I enjoy doing it a lot. You know, I like doing these daily briefings. Helps me keep in touch with the weather here. It helps me with my job there at Alaska Airlines also. But yeah, anyway, hope you guys can continue the journey with me over the next few years. It's almost been 2 years of regular briefings. Seems like time is flying. So anyway, we'll do this again tomorrow. We'll break everything down. We'll take a look at that potential ridge building. We'll see what kind of systems await us in the extended forecast as always. And I will talk to you guys then.